Don't get in the habit of begging or allowing the possibility of sex to control the situation. If you shut it down, it communicates that you aren't going to let her pussy run the show. Whether it's a business negotiation or a hookup, the person willing to walk away has all the power. No more last minute resistance. This video has a double meaning. The first meaning is that the term last minute resistance, which I have never spoken before as a phrase, is very cringy, creepy, and rapey and should not be used. If you check the game Glossary, there are way better alternatives to use, such as cold feet.
And no sex either.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Now, the idea is that last minute resistance describes the concept around sexual escalation where there is resistance. Now, the word resistance brings problems because that brings the implication that the woman is resisting, just like the French resistance were resisting against the Germans invading in World War II. Last minute resistance is the idea that there are two sides and one is resisting against the other, and that's not a good term to use in a sexual context because that's against consent. So it's a stupid idea to keep using it.
No sex.
Honey, you're not speaking clearly. Your injuries must be awful.
No sex.
Oh, a cruel fate to
No
shroud
sex.
my wife's dying
No
words in
sex.
mystery.
No sex!
Poor Annie. We hardly knew her. She'll be missed terribly.
Dan Bilzerian's new book called The Setup, which was released in late 2021, is amazing in this way because he gives this entirely unique perspective around so many different things. As I said in the previous video, he was a day gamer and he now obviously he runs social circle game and business. But if you are a PUA or just someone looking to improve their dating life, it's quite useful if you want to date more women. Now for the sexual escalation part, Dan brings up an amazing point. Some guys struggle getting towards that sex when they're quite close to it. And it's very easy for a lot of guys to get frustrated. There's a way around that. Instead of pushing, you can pull back. And that's what Dan Bilzerian speaks about. If you reframe the entire situation, it works out in your favor because instead of pushing and giving her the power, letting her have the sexual power, you can pull back, give space, she will feel safe, you won't be rapey, and it's just better that way. She will have to chase you. In Dan Bilzerian's book, he speaks about this time where he had a girl in his bed and he wanted to escalate, but she said no. AKA she had cold feet, which is the term you should be using now. In this situation, when they were in bed, it didn't go further than that. So instead of pushing, he pulled back, went to the bathroom, and took a sleeping pill. I certainly wasn't going to whine, keep trying, and keep getting shut down like most guys. The more a girl rejects you, the lower your perceived value becomes in her eyes. It's like when you get stuck off-roading, the more you spin your tires, the harder it will be to eventually get out. By me being willing to accept a no and still hang out with her afterward, it allowed her to feel safe and think that I liked her for more than just sex. And this allowed her to then have dirty, cheap sex with me. Go figure. Most guys are persistent and keep trying. That's a bad tactic. I quickly came to realize that if a girl says no to me, music stops and I'm out. I don't play that bigger bullshit. No games. If she isn't super into me, then I'll find a girl who is. This is the mindset that you should be having. If you don't, you're just going to spiral down into more rejections and more power being used against you. That's a huge reframe on sexual escalation, especially when avoiding cold feet. Instead of being very persistent and pushing against her already saying no and communicating to you with her body language, and her verbal language, in order to display abundance, you should just be able to walk away, no problem. Go on another date, do something else, do something fun, have some food, do something else, move on. That alone displays that you have other things to do. You're not desperate, you're not needy. She is safer, she feels safer, and therefore it's not rapey.